What's up, everybody? What up, everyone? Hello, everyone. It's your boy Tao on the Fly. Today we're going to review of Dwayne Johnson doing Rampage. Now, Rampage is the great movie. Now, you see, his name was George. I didn't know that George was his name. The gorilla. He was like, woo, 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 woo. I'm like, oh wow. And you know what's the coolest part? Dwayne Johnson was one of my favorite characters in this movie. Now, if you ever see Dwayne Johnson movies like Hobbs and Shaw, like the Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw, like I did that review, make sure you go check that out. And Skyscraper, and Jungle Cruise, Moana, and also he's gonna do the new Black Adam. I couldn't believe it, but I'm gonna react that one soon. And also he also did the Tooth Fairy, DC League of Super Pets, and also this. This I couldn't believe it. I love that movie. All those movies, he did a great job. Now, Rampage was so good. In the beginning, it was so funny. He's like this, and he's like, the coast is clear. And then I just couldn't believe it. But now they made a game, Rampage, from years ago, and now they add to the movie. I couldn't believe my eyes. I love Rampage. I love Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. And also he was being in the shows like the Titan games. If you ever watch the Titan games, make sure you watch it. It was so good. So the Titan games was really good. The Titan games were so great. So let's get to this review. Now, Rampage was so good. This was so good. It was about this meteor shower, and it was coming straight closer to the Earth, and then kaboom! It was so darn boom. And then George touched it, and then something happened. He became large, and then huge, like a monster. I was like, oh my god. I'm like, he was like a huge monster from the games. I was like, oh my god. But I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. I cannot believe my eyes. But first, I just want to say, that movie was so good. And you know what? He's been on the movies. But on Rampage, George, the SWAT team and the cops, trying to shoot George, but Dwayne Johnson says, wait, I'm the zookeeper. Just let me handle this. And then he says, George, it's me. You gotta cool down, buddy. He says, and all of a sudden, there was a helicopter, and then shoot George in his chest, and then it's like a sleeping dart, most likely. But without a doubt, that movie was good. And then all of a sudden, George wake up, and then he was trying to squeeze up. I just couldn't believe it. He just squeezed it like a monster. He was like Khan. He was like Khan, like. I was like, I couldn't believe it. He did the same thing. Now George, and then this. I mean, like Khan Skull Island, and now this. I was like, I couldn't believe my eyes. My eyes were so huge. I love that movie. But this was so good. I love that movie. But in the back, it was so good. All the fights, the epics, the stories, the storytells, and also the great most of all time. It was so good about this movie. Rampage was great until then. It was funny that George did the middle finger, and then Dwayne Johnson says, "Nah, George," and I was like, "Jeez," and he says, "Remember, your family." And I was like, I couldn't believe it. He did that middle finger, and then the ending, he did it again. He's pretending he's dead, and I'm like, oh my god, and I could not believe it. And then Dwayne Johnson, he was like, oh my gosh, he couldn't believe it. He says, pretending to be dead, just like how you like that, and the girl says, oh my god. I was laughing so hard. I was like, I could not believe it. I could not believe it. That middle finger that George did, that was so funny. That was so funny. I could not believe it. I could have laughed it. Like I said, he was so funny. But like I said, that was so funny. I loved it. I loved it. It was so good. I kinda like it. But my favorite part, Dwayne Johnson helps George fight the two monsters. It was the giant werewolf and the giant, like a giant crocodile. It was so huge, huge monsters. They're like humongous. I was like, oh my god. And then they found a cure to help George. And then all of a sudden, boom, they got George back. I was like, yeah, baby, yeah! I was like, oh gosh, yeah. But on the other hand, I just gotta say, it was so good that Dwayne Johnson did a great job of Rampage. He was so good of all time. But on the other hand, let's just say that Dwayne Johnson was so good of Rampage, of the game. I mean, in the movie. But let's just say, I loved it. I loved the movie. The movie was so good. It was so good. It was so good. I love it. I love it. It was so good. And then he said, that's right. And he says, and then George is like, and then I was like, that's right. And then Dwayne Johnson is like, that's right. Let's kick some. And then after that, Dwayne Johnson's like, ooh, ooh. And then Dwayne Johnson says, oh, God. And then George, they were prepared for fight. And then Dwayne Johnson, George was like this. Ooh, 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 ooh. And then, roar, roar. And then, roar, roar. And then, I was like, oh my God. That was the best. That was the best scene. I love it. But the funny part was the middle finger in the ending. That was so funny. I could have laughed it so hard. But in the ending, George helped. George helped the city. I loved it. So that was it for that. I loved that movie. It was so good. And they had Dwayne Johnson in it. It was so good. I loved it. So this is for my review of Rampage by Dwayne Johnson. So if you haven't seen this movie, make sure you watch it. It was so good, and I love it. Without further ado, make sure you like and subscribe for my YouTube channel. This is Ty on the Fly, and this is a scene for you. And I'll see you next time.
Did I just see you close your eye? I just saw you open your eye. Son of a bitch! Pretending to be dead at a time like this?
Oh my God.
No, it's not funny, and I wasn't crying. Okay? There's a lot of debris around here.
Wait, is this like a thing between you guys?
This is not a thing between us, it's a thing with him because he has a twisted sense of humor. Yes, I guess you could say that. She was part of my troupe. I mean, we're friends, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we're friends. No, come on, dude. Have some class, okay? I don't know what's gotten into him. Kate, I'm so sorry. George, stop.